Hello, good people, and welcome to Mondays Are Hard. I'm your girl, Reverend Jocelyn. I'm here with my boy.
Diamond Q, Quentin James, we are so excited to be here with you all today. Again, for everybody that's here, go ahead and put in the chat who you are and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, yes, absolutely. We want to know who's here because we like to give shout outs and also build community. Now, this is Mondays Are Hard. So, this is dedicated to helping you to kick off your week, to navigate those challenges that may come your way with a different mindset, being equipped for the challenges ahead. And so, we're excited to have you here. So, if you could do me a favor, if you're watching live or even if you're watching the replay, if you can put your name in the chat and where you are watching from. I already see we have Roz in the house and we have Miss Feisty. Okay. I like that name, sister. Anybody else who's watching live, you let us know. And again, if you're watching the replay, we got love for you too. And today we are having a great conversation,
yeah.
about leveraging your network. And in this, we have some things to share from some recent experiences that we've had, right? Just
Yeah,
this past week together, we had quite the weekend, Quentin, right?
absolutely. Yeah. And I'll definitely let you elaborate on how great it was. But to what she said, you all, oh my girl, Craig, what's up? How you doing, girl? I firmly believe, and I would say, Jocelyn echoes the same sentiment. A lot of people understand the importance of having a network. You've probably heard before, your network is your net worth. You've heard that statement before, and I think everybody like, oh, that's so cliche. And yes, in some instances it is, but it's a lot of truth in that simple concept. And something that I've noticed, and I would say I've definitely worked for on myself, Jocelyn, is how to create a network. See, something that I've learned and I've noticed that people who are also really good at this is not about moving fast, it's about moving correctly. And that's what we want to speak on today. I also believe, you've heard it before. People say, well, I don't like networking. I'm just an introvert. And I just think that's a bunch of crap. I don't firmly believe like you utilize that you're somebody who's just, into, about, and I don't say about yourself, but you just like getting your energy on your own. They use the leverage like, well, since I'm an introvert, I don't like people. No, it's really because they may not know how to network accordingly, in my opinion. So,
Yes, and I
so
and I want to I want to insert as a fellow introvert. How many
yeah,
introverts
that's why I said,
do we have in the virtual house? Because I know you might be like, oh, a bunch of crap. What even? That's just so
yeah,
harsh, you know. And
yeah,
I got love for the introverts because I consider myself to be an introvert,
which
and
is
for
true.
me, I've struggled over the years because when COVID first hit, I was someone who was like, well, social distancing, I'm fine staying in my house for like a whole week straight, just coming out for some groceries to get that. I was that girl. But Quentin's point, when it comes to us connecting with people and in manifesting the vision that you have for your life, whether it's a ministry, whether it's a business, whether it is just what you want for your family, God made us to be relational beings. And so for me, I believe that even as an introvert, it's important for us to connect and leverage our network. And so there's some things for even us to learn today. But I want to see who else is here. We had a couple other people join. We have okay, that's okay. That's Tyler right there. Okay, we got Misty, Rods. Okay, good. Just continue to let us know who's here and watching. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe if you're a first timer so you never miss an episode. But
Absolutely.
Quentin, you're one of the people who I know who I actually would consider like top notch when it comes to leveraging your network. Like I feel like you kind of learned how to make connections, how to build relationships. Were you always like that?
Yeah, it goes. So this the part to your point. Some people, I use this statement all the time. There's people out there who they get their energy, right? Like if you think of it, from this perspective, they may go to an event, and for them, every time they talk to somebody, whatever rock that they got, that rock is gone. And eventually they deplete it. And in order for them to get refueled, okay, they just got to go home and just decompress and be like, whew, I just need me time to see time in order to go back out. And again, the way you're wired is nothing wrong with that. Quentin James, I get energy from being around y'all. Okay. I'll tell you this. I tell like a friend, I don't like being, she's the opposite. That COVID was horrible for me because I want my people. Okay. I fell asleep more probably than I should have. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just being in the house doesn't necessarily sit my skill set, I don't think. But I feel for me personally, I've just always realized that when you're able to know how to move correctly in a room and you know the type of people you need to have in your, I tell people all the time, there's a difference to having people in your corner and having people in your circle. When you have the right people in your circle, you know how to leverage them accordingly. And that's just something I've learned at a young age. I know the type of people you need to have around you. I know how to ensure that these individuals are able to support you in certain instances, but I also understand the value of community and what that should look like. So yeah, I picked it up from a lot of people like my grandfather. I saw how he positioned himself, from people out here that you'd be like, man, he knows a lot of people. I know the difference between a networker and connector, which we're going to talk about today. So all of these things has happened through skill sets and experiences, but I just love people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. So,
good at
so some people might say that this comes easy to you. You have an advantage, an unfair advantage, Quentin, because the fact that you love people so much that you could just walk up to someone and you never meet someone who's not a friend, if you will. And you're
I
saying
don't.
no. You're saying
Yeah, I
no.
don't think so. No, and here's the reason why. Because some people may think because you know so many people, you're unauthentic. You know, they may look at it like that. Some people may feel like, well, he knows everybody since he's on, you know, and from that perspective, like I've worked on things and to ensure people felt important. I've worked on to make sure I know people's names. I worked on being present in the moment when I'm communicating with people. But sometimes I think it's a crutch. You may know a lot of people, but if you don't know how to leverage your network accordingly, which could be hard for people, you don't know a lot of people. They just know of you. And there's a difference in that, you know, whereas I firmly believe and transparently somebody, I don't want to use the word introvert necessarily, but somebody who's really present in the moment with they can have a small, but they know how to deepen that relationship with those individuals a lot better. That's an amazing skill set that I've had to learn. So I think there's an awesome opportunity in both how you're wired. But I wouldn't say just because I know a lot of people, that means I'm good at it could be surface level if I don't know how to deepen that stuff. You know what I
That's good
mean?
to know. So what I'm hearing you say, whether you're introverted or extroverted or like something in between, is essentially a skill set that can be developed on either side of the fence that you might find yourself on, but is an important skill set for us to
Absolutely.
develop, even if you consider it to be hard. And so,
Absolutely.
what are some of the key things, Quentin, that you would say as someone who I feel like is great at leveraging a network, that someone who is at their beginning stages really must consider for them to be able to leverage? What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I want us to speak on real quickly is this: know where to um know where to position the people in your network first. Like let's so we're going to talk about how to help you all move correctly real quick, okay? And I say there's three types of people that you need to have in your network, okay? Those who stretch you, those who test you, and those you can invest through. Okay. So, again, those who stretch you, those who test you, and then those you can invest through. All right. And I'm going to speak about these a little bit more. It's maybe the first one we're going to talk about today, because I could talk about this till nauseum, honestly. I could speak on like this in detail. I want to give you all a little bit later some about the stretching piece and those type of individuals, but you need to have those three types of people in your network. Why? Well, to be honest, for a multitude of reasons. One of them, you can get wisdom. One of them, you can gain strength. And honestly, one of them will be a blessing. They can keep you young. You know, those you invest through, they gonna show you some things. You're like, well, I didn't even think about that. So let's talk about the event, right? Like, you know, some people are, oh, you went to that event. It was the gala of all galas in Chicago. You know, and it was and you know, somebody actually talked to me today about it. It was like, okay, I was talking on the phone, telling them how great it was. They was like, oh, so you connect with a lot of people, huh? And I was like, well, no, not really. I don't really, you know, I don't know. They was like, really? So it wasn't a success to you then. And I was like, well, what does success look like at an event like that to you? Because everybody is different, right? And they was like, what did it look like to you? And I was like, you know, it was cool to see the three types of people that's in my network there at the event, and they didn't invite me. I saw people that stretched me there that I knew, right? And we're gonna talk about them again at a different. And it was like, and they were, oh my gosh, Quentin, it's good to see you here, and we communicating and connecting, and we've already connected, so I deepened that relationship, right? Then saw people that test me, like Jocelyn knows. There was people that was coming up to me like they saw it's been 20 years in the game since I seen them actually, right? I knew him since if anybody know I used to have my own dance group, they like, I knew you since Boys of Poison, right? I'm like, oh man, that's a long time ago. Or even people that I caught up with that I haven't seen in a couple like months, actually, just that they were there. And it was pretty cool. So, and then also seeing somebody that I've invested through. Well, the person I've invested through a few times, he won the Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, right? So to be in an area where you get all three, you're successful when it comes to leveraging your network, just having the right network. So I would say that for you all, write down the type of people you want to have in your network. And if those people around you is definitely what's needed. So
That's good. And I think when it comes to this process of building your network, it's something that comes with intentionality. One
mhm.
of the things I firmly believe is that all of us should have a board of directors for our lives. Just
Mm,
like you have a board of directors for maybe a nonprofit, that's something that's a requirement. We understand that. But when it comes to going through life, we also desire or should seek to have people in our lives who provide wisdom, counsel, who are in our network, who will not only give us advice and wisdom, but they will call us out or call us up into our greatness and say, hey, this is some things I see that can use some correction. They'll connect us with resources. And so my question for you is, who's on the board of directors of your life? Who are the
mm.
people who you can look
So
up
good,
to
Jocelyn.
and seek wisdom from? And if you don't have a board of directors yet, this is your opportunity to design it. And that comes by intentionality. I had to quickly learn, even as an introvert, that sitting behind a computer all day, which was my happy place for the longest time, was no longer serving me. And I would have to get out there and connect with people and offer value and be relational. And actually, when I started doing that, even in all my introvertedness, it was a blessing to me to be able to have really authentic relationships. And here's the thing, just like you don't want to have just anybody on your board. I tell people all the time when it comes to a nonprofit, you don't want to have just cousin Pookie on your board. Just to have
My
some
cousin Pookie.
not
Oh,
cousin Pookie. You don't want to have just cousin Pookie on your board. You can't just have just anybody. You
Pookie
want
in
to
there.
be able
Yeah,
to
come on.
have key people who are in alignment with you, who might be different than you. Because yes, you want to have people with different talents, different gifts, like
Yeah,
a nonprofit, somebody who might be good at fundraising, someone who might be good at marketing, some people who are like really strong in certain areas where you're weak. You want to have people who bring diverse ideas, but then
yeah,
there's certain things that you want to have people who are also in alignment with certain values that are critical for you. But you don't want to have just numbers of people, like you were saying earlier, Quentin. It's not about quantity, it's about
the quality.
quality. And
Right,
seeking out
absolutely.
intentionality when it comes to designing your board of directors for your life is going to be a game changer when you're intentional about that.
Man, listen, I'm telling you all like a friend. What she just said is so phenomenal to the point. I saw her in action, and I want you to talk more about this. I want you like just your experience. You know what I mean? Like we ain't here to teach you all. We ain't here to preach to you all. We ain't even here to teach you all. We just here to give you all some shared experiences too. And she did some phenomenal stuff. Like you can. Some I'm an observant individual, so just to see her move, like it was times where she's like, "Where's Quentin?" I did that purposely, by the way. Because she was like, "Where is he at? I don't even like where did he go?" Yeah, you don't even know. Like, but then I'm watching in the back like Batman, uh, making sure everything is good. Making sure everything is good. So, if you don't mind, why don't you go ahead and like, how did you like the event? What did you like about it? I saw you connecting with so many different types of people. Yeah, how did the event do to you when it comes to leveraging your network?
Yeah. So this gala that we went to was for entrepreneurs, particularly it was edifying Black entrepreneurship. And being in that space and seeing people from different walks of life, some people who I met 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was a reminder because there were
Mhm.
people from other stages of my life, you want to be careful what bridges you burn. And to
Mm.
and keep your reputation good on these streets, because you never know who you're going to cross paths with again. That's an important networking lesson as well. But as I was connecting with people, and also just making new connections, I saw that it happens sometimes in environments where it's social, right? They often talk about that deals are made on the golf course. Now, I don't know how
Mhm.
many of you all play golf, but it's a sport, it's a game. And for me, when we were at that gala, it was similar. It was social. It was us like dancing, or us. I was playing pool. I won, by the way, on the pool table.
You did good. Yeah.
I
And
did
what
good.
she wasn't
Right.
going against me. She would have lost. I'm
Oh,
telling y'all
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
goodness,
know.
competition. But 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 sometimes we have to actually go out and do things that might seem social. I didn't realize I got muted. Sometimes we can go out there and make connections at social events, and that's the best time because you get to know people personally, and they remember you, and
Yeah.
they get to like you. And so for me, it was great building connections while also having fun.
Yeah. She did good. I'm gonna tell y'all real quickly. I'm gonna tell you, like, I never saw a man curse so much in his life. The first game. Did you win the first game?
I won the first game.
You won the first game, okay, so you know how it is, people competitive, so she won the first, and she was like, first when they start racking up, she was like, "I don't know about this now. I mean, I'll try my best." See, that's a person who knows how to actually take advantage of the situation. She over here, what they call it,
I
sca not
wasn't hustling. I
she was
wasn't hustling.
hustling. She was hustling this man. She's so humble. I try my best, child. And then she beat him the first. Oh, bless his heart. And he over here, I don't know if he was intoxicated or not, but he like, no, no, we gotta do it again. And I feel like she just let him win the second one. I wasn't there, but I did come back like, man, they've been going for a long time. She's like, no, this is the third one. He won the second one. No, she hustled that man. She made him think that he had a shot when actuality he probably didn't. She did this little overhoop thing when she hit it went around his ball. He looked like, what was that? The third game. And yeah, you hustled them. You
Oh
hustled.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
that was a
Let him
Will
tell the
Smith moment,
story.
Fresh Prince. You came out as Uncle Phil or Mrs. Auntie Philette, I guess. I don't know, but you came over there and did your thing. You hit him where it hurt. He was cursing his butt off. She had to pray for him at that moment. Reverend Johnson don't like them type of nerd words. You know what I mean? She was out there doing a thing. It was ridiculous. Uh,
Well, thank you, Q. But thank
yeah.
you. But it was also, here's the thing. Being in environments like that, where you get to enjoy people, be relaxed, it's a great way to expand your network. And that's the thing that I wanted to share in terms of my learning. For
Yeah.
you, Quentin, what was the biggest learning that you took away?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk about the event. Then I want to kind of then after that transition to something that I want to give you all as well, because I feel like a lot of people miss out on this piece. But for me, the event was not necessarily about connecting with people. I love people, but sometimes you may go to events to get a vision. See, it was so phenomenal to see them give awards to people that I knew. One of the honorees, she is this massive, amazing, phenomenal woman who's created impact in the community to so many ways. And now it's a global entity that she cultivated and developed. So to see her, and I didn't even know she was there, to see her get honored, just to see that, it's like, oh man, like I can't wait to create something like that for the people that I want to sow into in my community or to those things. And sometimes it's important for you to go to events just to see what you're capable of. It may not necessarily be for you to go ahead and um, meet thousands of people or get 15, 20 contacts. Sometimes it's just for you to know that you belong. Okay. And that's the biggest thing. So yeah, it was great. It was great for sure. But still, again, I understand that a lot of people may feel, Jocelyn, that it's hard to network or it's hard to leverage your network. Again, if your network is your net worth and you feel like your net worth isn't where you want it to be, how are you leveraging the people around you? And here's something that I would say. We always we talk. I want to talk about the stretching piece, the type of people who be stretching you. Okay. And Jocelyn, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you. You probably don't know the lane I'm going, which is fine, but I may need some back and forth with you on this. Okay. So you have people who stretch you. And there's people who normally stretch you, okay, that I don't think that people do, they say, okay, great. I need if you want somebody to stretch you, normally they say, I need a mentor. Would you agree? Oh man, if I just get a mentor, because again, you asked me earlier, Quentin, like, how are you able to navigate in a way and just know the people and all these other things? So, okay, yeah, mentor, perfect. You need a mentor. I'm not saying you don't. You need to have a mentor. If you don't have a mentor at a basic level, that's where to start. All right. But then also you need to understand there's a difference between a mentor and a coach. Right. So some people may, okay, you know what? I got a mentor and I need a coach, because understand the difference between these. Okay. A mentor is there to share wisdom. A coach is there to train you. Good example. I'm working out. Okay, I'm in there. I'm working out. Y'all, if y'all know anything about Quentin James works out at least 5 days a week. I work out to eat, by the way, but I work out. Okay, and you can have an old man in there. He in there every time you in there, right? And he in there, like he got his biceps and the curls and all this other stuff. And every time I see him, now I start off on the treadmill. By the way, he don't do that, but I start on the treadmill. Me and him got this thing. We don't say too much. We just, how you doing, right? You probably got that too, Johnson, at the other places. But when it's time for me to do some benching around where he's at, he said, all right, son, like I'm his son, go ahead and but he got the results, so I'm willing to listen, right? He's not coaching me though. He's just a mentor in that space. He's showing wisdom. Does that make sense? Whereas a coach is training you, which means they are giving you a syllabus, an outline, a format, a framework to help you execute in exactly what you want to do. So you need to know the difference in those. Now, here's the issue that I have with most people, Jocelyn. They firmly believe, and this is where I am a lot different. They firmly believe that having these two things is what's going to get them to the success that they're looking for. That's the issue. Because it's not two. Again, if you're having a test and you only get 2 out of the 3, by default, you're at 67%. You still at a D. And that's part of the people are out here trying to get A success with D format. Okay, they're trying to get A success with D format. So you may say, well, Quentin, what's the third? And this is where I leaned in a lot more. Yes, a mentor is extremely important. Again, you need to know why you need them, right? They're there to share wisdom, give you shared experiences, right? Also, you need a coach. There's no way you're going to be able to execute, because they bring out the best in you at the moments when you can't bring out the best in yourself. Okay, so that's what a coach is there. But the third thing, and the third person who stretches you, is a sponsor. Okay, a sponsor. And that's the one that even today, I was like, you know what? I want to know how many people talk about having a sponsor. I saw almost none. I saw sponsorship. That's not what I'm talking about. I saw sponsors in other areas. No. A sponsor for your life, or a sponsor for who you are as an individual. And most people don't realize that. See, yeah, a sponsor is going to expand your network. Like, that's what they bring to the table. But there's two things that a sponsor also brings in addition to that I want you all to think about that's in your network. And then I'm going to talk about how you all can get a sponsor. Okay. They increase visibility of who you are as a person. Okay. But more importantly, they navigate the politics. They're the ones that could talk about you when you're not in the room. And a lot of times that's what you need. See, a mentor can't do that. Sometimes a trainer, if it's in the same context, a coach can do that. But a sponsor, they are specifically there to ensure that they navigate the politics, that you maybe even talk about you when you're not in the room. I see that so much in corporate. I see that so, like, you may say, man, how did this person get it when I know, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm way better than him. And so it's probably because he had somebody speak to him about in the room with people who make decisions, right? I talked about Will Smith. Remember, I talked about Will Smith on another podcast that we both was on, and we were talking about it. And I talked about how he got Fresh Prince and he met the Fresh Prince person. Quincy Jones for him was a sponsor, right? Yes, he could have been a mentor in certain instances. He wasn't a coach, but he was a sponsor for Will Smith. That's why Will Smith was able to get into some of those rooms and become who he is today. Okay, so that's first. Understand those three things, that those who stretching you guys. You need to have a mentor. You need to have a coach. But again, I want you all to move correctly. Do you have a sponsor? Okay.
Mhm.
So let me pause there because I know I said a lot, but what you thinking,
Yeah,
Jocelyn? Got you
yeah, like,
laughing.
I'm thinking because I was, like, listening and I was trying to, like, take in when you were talking about sponsorship and translate that into kinda, like, what I'm familiar with, and that's someone who you said will essentially go before you advocate, help open up doors, um, get you open up space for you at the table when other people might be holding you back, and so I think that's very profound. I think one of the questions that those who might be watching right now, and I encourage you to put comments if you're like resonating with this, please comment. Even if you're watching live or the replay, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
But my question to you, Quinn, is okay, great. We need a coach, we need a mentor, we need a sponsor. Where do we get these people? How do we get these people? How
How
do
do you get the people
like,
right?
so, like, if I want to sponsor in particular, particularly in corporate, or whatever capacity where you're trying to excel, is it a matter of me going up and saying, "Will you sponsor me?" Or like, how would you go about that, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, well, one, you gotta. So here's the thing, and I don't want to say where because they can be anywhere, really. Granted, obviously, it's somebody who probably somebody you look up to, somebody, those are like the basic stuff. But the question really is how. It's not where because they're everywhere. It's the how. How do you do it? And it's real simple because you may ask again. You asked earlier, Quentin. It seems like networking for you is not as difficult, and I would say to you is not as hard because the things I'm about to say is what I actually got good at. Okay. I would say also to you, Jocelyn, you going to Ghana soon, right? Uh, About to go out there and speak in different types of capacities and stuff like that. I would say you look at the people that you'll be with. How did you get there? Well, no, I would say one of them is probably a sponsor, from that perspective. That was able to get you into the room potentially with somebody that you are extremely you look up to from that point. But here's how you can ensure that you have a sponsor. Okay. One, be so good that they can't ignore you. And whatever you do, be so good that they cannot ignore you and what you're trying to accomplish and what you're good at. You are not that you got to be a subject matter expert, but they know if this person, I know they can execute very well in what they do. So first, be so good that they can't ignore you. Okay. The second thing is this: solve problems that they care about. See, when you are working with people, let me give you an example. For me, Gary Rabine was a sponsor. He put me in rooms that I couldn't get into. Why? It was because I was so good at connecting with people. I was good at creating. I was good at, creating curriculum and I was big into the mentorship piece and learning how to do that. And I became really good at the importance of mentorship and how to execute that accordingly and effectively for people. Right. So we created True Mentors to help startup entrepreneurs connecting them with businesses they would not have access to. But creating that whole dynamic, he connected me with people before I even had the opportunity. Like people that supported me, literally even to this day, they were like, "Yeah, honestly, Quentin, you were so good at what you did, but he made sure that I was in these rooms with these people to at least get the opportunity to talk to them." Right. So for a moment in my life, he was my sponsor in that regard. And lastly, signal your ambition when you have them in your arsenal and they realize that you are actually there for them and you've helped them out in what you wanted to accomplish, what they wanted to accomplish, they will literally do anything for you. And that's how they're going to get you in that room. Right. Let me give you a recreational example. Okay. I went out with, I consider him a sponsor for me, seriously, because I helped him in a couple things. He knows I'm really good at certain stuff. He knows he says, Quinn, you're so good at sales. It's ridiculous. And I was like, I appreciate it. He has a sales team and I gave him some insight as far as what I feel be really good. But we had a conversation at Capital Grill. So he took me there, and it was pretty good. If you've never been to Capital Grill, it's phenomenal. The steak is amazing, right? But he was like, what's something you're excited about? And I was like, you know what? I love being a dad and I love creating experiences with my son. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And again, this is recreation. I could have said anything, but we're just having a conversation. Just somebody I've known for 7, 8 years as we wrap up here. And he says to me, all right, awesome. I was like, I've never really been at a Blackhawks game. I've never been at a Blackhawks game. He's like, really? And I was like, yeah, I've never been at a Blackhawks game. And I would love to go with my son because I know he's starting to like hockey. He's starting to like the Blackhawks. He was like, seriously? I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, all right. Hit me tomorrow. That's all I said. I was like, okay, all right. He kind of stopped the conversation. He's like, hit me tomorrow. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll do that. We went ahead and departed ways, of course. Thank you so much for your time and energy. I hit him up tomorrow. I was like, hey, everything good? Good morning. And he sent me 4 tickets, front row, for me and my son and whoever we decided to bring to go see the Blackhawks for the first time. Right? A sponsor would do things like that. Okay. And that's who I would say that's how you leverage your network, because it's not about moving fast, it's about moving correctly. I say this statement: the goal of a winner is to take action in the connection. The goal of a loser is just to say we're connected. Totally good that's a total difference. So when you're connecting with people, when you're looking to leverage your network, take the actions that I just talked about. Be so good in your craft. Again, solve the problems that they actually need help with. But more importantly, when you get to that opportunity, signal your ambition and continue being a winner in that way. So
That's good, Q. Thank you for dropping those nuggets, those points right there. I hope people were kept capturing those diamonds. I'm gonna say those diamonds that you
those
just dropped.
diamond nuggets, right? Diamond
Diamond
thoughts.
nuggets. Oh,
Diamond
diamond
thoughts.
thoughts. There you go. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for watching and hanging with us tonight. Again, we appreciate you. And we're here week after week on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central, just to encourage you and to give you certain strategies for those things that you might define as hard. But with the right strategies, as Quentin was sharing, you can change that idea for, oh, this is so hard, to something that actually could be fun and can grow
Absolutely.
you and stretch you. And so one of the biggest takeaways, I'm going to bring this back on the screen. If you haven't gotten it already, do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach? And do you have a sponsor? And of those people in your life, understanding that you want people to stretch you, you want people to test you, and you want people who you can invest through. You have those people in your life. That's the formula. That's the formula right there to helping you to leverage your network, to go to that next level and to accomplish your dreams. So do us a favor. If this is something that blessed you, make a comment about your biggest takeaway. We appreciate that. Also, if you haven't already, if you want to make sure that you never miss an episode or you get big updates, because we have a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline, you want to go ahead and text Handle the Hard, no space in between, to 312-667-4243 for major updates that are coming down the pipe. Lastly, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and share this with a friend, particularly those friends out there who typically they kind of operate in silos. They're trying to figure out how to network. This is for them. This is definitely going to help them out. Thank you again for watching. We got some good feedback here from our people. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Q, any final remarks for the people before we conclude for tonight?
No, man. Just again, we just want you all to know we're here to help you all handle hard better. 100%. That's the goal of it. Please stay in tune. And we're here for you all. So, like we say, if you need anything, let us know. Hit us up. Hit us on our Instagram, all the other ones, X, Facebook, even. But stay in contact. Stay in contact with us. And the best thing you can do is bring somebody here with you next week, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, or wherever else you at. I don't know them all off the top of my head. All right. But we love y'all. And more importantly, as always say, man, stay blessed and never stress. All right.
Peace, good people. We'll see you soon. God bless you.